the Harbowl. We have Ravens at Chargers. This is Monday Night Football. Chargers are 3-point underdogs at home in Los Angeles. I don't know. I heard that Los Angeles crowd last week against the Bengals. That was the most pro Chargers crowd I probably ever heard at that stadium, or probably any LA or San Diego stadium that they've played in the last few years. But when you're watching this game, Charles, let's say when the Ravens have the ball against this Chargers defense, both stack up pretty high in all the analytics stuff that we look at, all the numbers. But when you're watching that side of the ball, what are you focusing on?
I thought what was really interesting about the Bengals Chargers game, going into it, what we talked about was, the Chargers, obviously really well schemed defense. They have some talent, but overall, like you can find like maybe more talented units just like from a personnel basis. And I think we kind of saw both sides of that coin, where there were times where, especially in the first half, where they were able to get the Bengals off the field, keep them in bad down distances, kind of disrupt the whole timing of things. And then in the second half, it was like, wait, hold on. We got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You guys don't really have anyone at cornerback that can keep up with that. So that just one-on-one superior talent kind of got them back into the game and made that a really close game by the end of it. And I think, obviously the Ravens wide receivers aren't T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, but like overall, still from just an elite talent perspective, they still do have guys like Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry who are capable of just taking over a game by themselves. And I kind of just want to see how the Chargers fare again when they have to go against like another pairing of elite talent that are kind of gonna attack the game in similar ways, just like from two wide receivers to Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, where both of them are really elite rushing threats, and obviously Lamar's having a crazier throwing the ball. The Ravens, they got to bounce back from last week.
The Steelers speed bump, man.
Steelers speed bump.
Can't get over it.
Yeah, the Derrick Henry fumble, I was like, oh my god, like that's why I knew they were going to lose, and I think that was very, very early in the game. When
it was. I think it was first or second drive. It was way early. Yeah.
Well, because I was at MetLife watching Aaron Rodgers go five straight drives without getting a first down, so I was kind of flipping around the NFL when the Jets were on offense, and that's when I saw that. I was like, oh, Steelers won. It's very early in the game, but they won. But last week, the Steelers, they held the Ravens, and if you just watch the game, obviously, I don't think any of this is surprising. They held them in the season low in net yards per attempt, yards per play, points per drive, EPA per play, EPA per dropback success rate. And also, this was the second time this year the Ravens offense has been held to negative EPA. The other time was week 2 against the goddamn Raiders, which...
Oh, God, that wacky game, yeah.
Right? Like every week that goes by, I'm like, what the hell happened in that game?
It was insane.
Yeah, I think one area is going to be interesting for the Ravens. Their pass protection recently hasn't been all that great. Their 30th in pressure rate given up over the past month. And we know like the Chargers, that's a team that can take advantage of that. So I think this is probably just going to be another game where Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry just go absolute sicko mode and carry them over to the finish line. Because I think outside of that, they kind of do match up well as far as the Chargers defense versus the Ravens offense.
Yeah, it's a strength on strength, especially, run stuff. The Chargers stack up top 3, top 5, every metric that you just laid out there for the season. And then I haven't played the toughest slate of offenses, but they've given the Chiefs some fits. They were giving the Bengals a little bit of fits until the talent always wins out.
Yeah, at some point.
In every sport, talent always wins out. All things being equal, talent wins out. But, having said that, like the Chargers... And I had a Twitter thread once, I think after they played the Browns. I'm like, all right, I'm going to study what the Chargers are doing right now. And it was like Joey Bosa made a play. And it was like, oh, yeah, Joey Bosa. And then Khalil Mack made a play. It's like, oh, yeah, Khalil Mack. Derwin James makes a play. Oh, yeah, Derwin James. Yeah, you guys are really good. You guys are stars. And they're playing well. Like James is playing in the slot a bunch. The Chargers use a lot of dime. Like they'll use 6 DBs no matter what the look is on offense. I think on early downs, I looked it up. When like the offenses are in 2 or fewer receivers, so base personnel groupings, the Chargers have the highest rate of dime usage in the NFL. And it's like not even close. It's like almost 20%. No one else is like above 5%. But no, they're just really well coached. They got Puna Ford and Tierra Tart, free agent additions in the middle who are like just playing really well. And I mean, the Chargers Chargers spine, I should say, was probably one of the biggest weaknesses in the entire NFL for the last 2 years. And now it's like a strength. which is, it's just been really fun to watch. Like these guys are just playing really well, play really sound. Tuli Tuliapo, I think I got that. Had 6 pressures last week. He's playing well. Dan Hanley, the linebacker's playing well. All these guys are playing really well. So having said that, the Ravens are a different beast. And that is kind of what's just so interesting about that is like, yeah, I think they're going to hold up most part on this, the Chargers defense and stuff, but they're still susceptible to what the Ravens are good at. Like you can get explosive runs against this Chargers defense. I think they're 26th in explosive run rate allowed. This is Derrick Henry, Lamar. This is where they go. And while the Chargers defense is good against certain things, like certain other things, like they're good against play action, they're really good against deep or quarterback design runs. So like zone reads, all that stuff. Not a big sample size, but they're very sound. They don't kind of get out of whack. This is where you see Jesse Minter, this kind of college background kind of crop in here. He's like, oh, I know these looks. Like, right. Oh, yeah, quarterback running. Yeah, I got it. Like watch him against Kyler. They snuffed out everything. Not good against scrambles though. So there's the difference of the quarterback runs. They're 25th in QB rushing yards allowed per game, but it's all mostly on scrambles. They're 30th in scramble yards allowed per game to quarterbacks, only above the Jaguars and the Giants. And this is because it's a double-edged sword of how they want to play. They're very scheme heavy, very like game plan based defense, a lot of zone coverages. They do a lot of bracket stuff that goes down and charting as 2-man, but
Chase cooked either Chase or Higgins cooked one of them for like
they did the Higgins the double move. Oh yes. yeah torched it. They love doing that on a 4th down. It was a baller play. I love that. And it goes down as 2-man, and it's one of these things where my quality control coach comes back into play and I'm like, it's bracket, guys. But what bracket is it's a double team. It's a safety and a corner on one guy. They'll do it on both sides. Really good against a Higgins or a Chase or something like that, or a Ravens offense that sometimes only trots out 2 receivers. And okay, I'm going to focus on the 2 receivers out there, Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman, or the shadow of Deontay Johnson. And I'm going to focus on them, but that allows for scrambles. Everybody's eyes are on the receiver or their tight end matchup, and no one looks at the quarterback. So why I'm saying all that is, look for little Lamar scrambles on these passing downs and look for maybe some explosive runs on Derrick Henley on early downs. And again, this is going to be more, I feel like this is more of a second half matchup. Like the first half, I think it's going to be kind of neutral. In the second half, we'll see whether the Chargers have new stuff to snuff it out or if the Ravens get there and they pop something later in the game. So really fun matchup, though. I was just trying to find angles on it. The one thing I saw was also another thing is Chargers are not good against screens, running back screens. They've allowed gains of 15, 37, 18, and 33 yards on running back screens. You know who's good on running back screens? Derrick Henry. Just let him chug down, Tractorino all the way. He's averaged 14.8 yards on running back screens in his career, nearly 15 yards, only taken 2 of them this year. And they went from 27 and 23 yards, but he's taken a ton in his career. He's always been very good at it. So that's another thing I just want to throw in there. So maybe they sprinkle in a running back screen to slow down that pass rush. Cause like you mentioned, the Chargers can get after you. Like they don't need to blitz, but they'll blitz in the late downs. But man, they still have Khalil Mack, still have Joey Bosa, still have Tier Tart, still have Tuli Tuliapo. Like they can really create pressure just naturally, and they do everything else on the back end to open up that pressure and let those guys get home. So it's fun. It's going to be like there's natural answers, but this Chargers defense is really smart. So I just kind of want to see what pops